Ghetto superstar, that is what you are. Coming from afar, reaching for the stars. Hello, Minnesota Fighting Vikings fans. What up, Jerome's? It is the Vikings-Bears pregame show live stream. Sure, that's what we got going on right now. Completely worthless, a pointless game. Yeah, I know. Just going back to Monday night. What could have been, what should have been. We could be here all hyped up. It's like Mitchell Trubisky ponders going down. Matt Nagy, the doppelganger, the looper version of Brad Childress, who, by the way, is on staff. Oh, I need to show the picture. It's glorious. I have to bring it up. No, where to go? Oh, come on. Oh, come on. All right. Do that, and then shut off my camera. Aha! Yes, look at the glory. Oh, ho, 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 ho. Caught in a Brad Childress. He's on staff. He looks like Santa, like the day after all those Christmas deliveries. Like, you think your Amazon guy looks stressed. Just imagine Santa. Anyways, yeah, so I was going to be all hyped up. Here we go. Win and a little bit of help from the lowly Detroit Lions. David Bling Blang Blau. Maybe Kyle Jerome Sluter gets in, upend the Packers. All of a sudden, the Vikings could be in business. They could get the 2 seed, maybe get the 3 seed. Probably going to be 3 seed. But now, whatever. 6 seed. Boring. I'm bored now. But, yeah. We're going to be here. Got the live stream going on. If you want your question for sure answered, toss it in the super chat. Toss a couple bucks in there. But, you know, it is what it is. It's kind of nice having that bye week as the Vikings roll into wildcard weekend, mainly because Vikings have a lot of injuries. Because I don't think Thielen is 100%. Thielen can, I like Thielen's little passive-aggressive comments because Thielen is OG Minnesota, where it's like, paraphrasing here, but he's saying it wasn't the injury that caused him to go blank against the Packers. It was something else, implying something else. Could have been Kirk Cousins, could have been the offensive play calling. So, of course, Thielen, he's not saying, he's just saying, but he's saying. Just pure Minnesotan there. And I'm not drinking out of the Green Bay Tears mug because it's in the dishwasher right now. But what can you do there? All right, and then also Dalvin Cook, obviously, where it's just so annoying. Like, this is the season of lingering injuries. You look at Thielen, popped the hammy against Detroit, re-aggravated against Kansas City, and then did a little bit of something to it in practice a couple weeks ago. That's why he wasn't in the Seattle game. Then you got Dalvin, who got dinged up in the Denver game, and then got re-dinged up against Seattle, and then was out, and then dinged up again, and just like, okay. But give him another full week. As you've seen, this Vikings offense is completely different when Dalvin is in the line as opposed to when he's not. Because when Dalvin is in, I mean, I understand like the analytics. The analytics nowadays say the running backs don't matter. Dalvin Cook matters to the Vikings in actual like football and not on a spreadsheet. Because I mean, Dalvin. He's going to be first team All-Pro for a reason. He is the straw that stirs the drink of this Vikings offense. He's amazing in the outside zone. You can run play action off of him. Stefanski doesn't get a brain fart when Dalvin is in the lineup for some reason. And also, I mean, Kirk Cousins, he's a lot comfortable coming off the play action, coming off the boot action. And also, he's really comfortable checking down to Dalvin Cook. Also, Dalvin Cook in the screen game with the Vikings offensive line personnel where Dalvin covers up a lot of warts on that offensive line, especially in the running game. But something that the O-line is good at is getting out in space, getting out on those outside stretch runs as well as on those screen passes. So there you go. All right. Also, we're going to give some shout-outs. Where's everyone tuning in from? We got our first one, Corey Christ, Floodwood, Minnesota. It's probably a bad name for a town, but Floodwood, what's going on? Peter Lou, do we have anything to play for? Spread is Bears minus 3.5. Should I take the Vikes? I mean, this is... If you're betting on some of these Week 17 games, you're a degen. It's basically like if you're betting on the fourth preseason game because you have no idea. And Vikings are going to be resting starters. I think the Bears are favorites for a reason. But, I mean, it's like betting on what's the game that they're also going to be rested? Oh, Titans. Titans are favored by 7 at Houston. Because Houston's going to be resting a bunch of starters, including Deshaun Watson. So, I don't know. I don't know, man. All right, so, shout-outs. What are your thoughts on Lakeville, Minnesota? I'm a big supporter of the Southern Metro. south of the river is the place to be. Shout out to Brooklyn Center, Vermont, Jesse Rosado. What's going on? Forest Lake, Minnesota. I used to have this standing running joke about Forest Lake where I just despise Forest Lake for no reason, and we just brought it up all the time. I call it Flake, but I love Forest Lake. Devin Hemmelman, Winona, Minnesota. Shout out to powerful Winona. Underwood, Minnesota, Frank. Peter Lou, hello from LA. Been back in LA mid-January. Pretty excited to head back out there and do some more stuff. Frederick, Maryland. Livonia, New York. Tuning in from NOLA's. Kumi Sanders, Stillwater, Shoreview, what's up? Highlands, Texas. That's right. Let's see. What else here? Richmond, Virginia. Powerful VA. Matthew Collins, Ames, Iowa, birthplace of Joe Burrow. Yeah, how about Joe friggin' Burrow last night, man? If I'm a Bengals fan, I'm just like, hey, Joe, what more do you have to prove? It's like, hey, I understand that you're playing for a national championship, but why don't you sit out one time for the Bengals, man? All right, so Joe Burrow, he's born in Iowa, right? Did he grow up in Ohio? Because he wanted to go Ohio State, but Ohio State was like, nah. No. He was at Ohio State, except they're like, you suck. He wanted to go play at Nebraska, except Nebraska was like, nah, Scott Frost and his infinite wisdom. Those were some pretty good games. 7 touchdowns in the first half, 8 total. I saw the meme where it's like, since the Peach Bowl was in Atlanta, and Joe Burrow accounted for as many touchdowns, 8, as Matt Ryan has thrown all season at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Which, by the way, how does Mercedes-Benz like get off? Like, how do they have the stones to sponsor both the Falcon Stadium and the Saints Stadium, right? So you have the cojones to sponsor both stadiums of one of the more underrated rivalries in the NFL. You're just like, we're Mercedes, don't care. Lexus, get out of here. Audi, get out of here. It'd be like if US Bank Stadium decided to sponsor Lambeau. Yeah, Lambeau Field at historic US Bank Stadium. It's like, whatever. Yeah. All right. Oh, some more shouts. Atlanta, Chesapeake, Ocala, Florida, from Medina. What's going on? Stuttgart, Germany. Powerful Germany in the house. Let's see here. New York, Weatherford, Des Moines, Iowa. What's up? Yeah. All right. So I initially was pretty meh on this entire game. Like, it's going to be pointless. It's going to be whatever. But also, you think about where we were like springtime. Yeah, remember the AAF? Man, that one bricked. Like, first off, if you're around a business, especially something that's as seasonal as football, how do you not raise enough cash to cover at least one season? How do you do that? Like, how do you not have enough cash to cover your annual nut? Like, how do you just do that? Like, conceivably, it was smart people being involved here, because billionaires generally don't become a billion with a B without being a little bit smart, a little bit savvy, unless they're just given their money by their daddy. But how do smart people make so many dumb decisions? I can't fathom it. I can't understand it. Well, we know one thing about the XFL: they won't run out of money because Vince is paid. It's gonna be good. I'm excited for the XFL. I'm a staunch supporter of anytime there is more football, there is more outlets. And I know everyone is all snarky. It's like, oh, the level play of the AAF isn't that of the NFL. Well, no shit, Sherlock. Yeah, I mean, look at the players. But also, we need a minor league, a de facto minor league for some of these players. Because you talk about, well, how come there isn't enough good quarterbacks? How come there isn't enough good coaches to go around? How come there isn't enough good scouts or good position X, Y, Z? It's because, where do you develop them? I mean, if you're not in the NFL and you want to play professional football, where do you develop it? You go play Arena League? Oh, that's shut down. So what do? So I think a true blue wink nod minor league for the NFL would be really important. And I think the XFL, the XFL failed the first time around because people didn't tune into TNN. Yeah, I think with social media and also with everything streaming on the internet nowadays, it's going to be a lot easier to build up audiences as opposed to just basic cable. It's like, what is TNN? Oh, that's right below CMT on the dial. Cool. Great. Anyways, all right. So back up to here. Let's get to the questions in the chat. Minnesota Vikings band 28 OG Jerome. What do you think of Packers fans complaining about Anthony Barhead being pictured in the Star Tribune as best sports moment of the 2000s? Oh man, I did not see that. Not really a paper reader, but I'm Packers fans they're like whatever. But here's the thing about Vikings fans: like if you listed the top 10 Vikings wins in franchise history, like 3 of them would be Packers losses in games that the Vikings weren't even involved. Like number one might be the number one game in Vikings history might be the Packers implosion in the NFC title game up in Seattle, or the Fail Mary. Yeah, because the Schadenfreude is real. Like we are such self-loathing fans, and I say that with all due respect and with all love intended. But just watching the Packers lose, like if the Vikings go one and done, they just bomb out of the playoffs. Wild card weekend, they go down to NOLA, lose by 50, whatever. Packers somehow slither their way in and make their way to the Super Bowl. And if the Vikings, and if the Packers get shellacked like 73-0 by the Ravens, that will be win number 4 in like Vikings franchise history. It is what it is. Ethan Johnson, the CFL needs to merge with some other league. Actually, I feel like the CFL they got their own brand of football, and I feel like it's unique. It's withstood the test of time. I actually forgot to mention the CFL when it comes to players developing themselves, but it's a completely different game. Like there's 3 downs, you have 12 players on the field. The dimensions of the field are different. The rules are different. It's a much better passing. Like when they're talking about, oh, hey, Tim Tebow didn't work out in the NFL. He could go up and play in the CFL. Baloney. No, he cannot. The CFL is a passing league. Tebow is a fullback who occasionally chucks the occasional pass. He would have been cooked in the CFL, right? Where if you have guys, players that come out of the air raid offense nowadays, where they're just chucking, they do great in the CFL. Yeah, they do phenomenal. See what else here. Yeah, Joe Burrows, I think he's going to be legit. Also, what's the name of their passing game coordinator? Joe Burns or something like that from LSU. I think he should be a hot name when it comes to NFL. But if you're looking for offensive coordinator, ooh, there you go. Sam Olson asks, what happens if Manning gets hurt? Well, it's going to be an interesting spot because it sounds like that Kirk Cousins is going to be dressed. He is going to be the backup. He is going to be active because here's the problem. If you're trying to bench all of your starters, you can't really do that because there's only 53 men on the roster. You can have 46 active on game day. So, yeah, you can go under that 46, sure, but also you have to be able to field a team. So even if you have all the backups in, and minus calling up guys from the practice squad, which you're not going to do because you have to send them back down. Also, who are you going to cut, by the way? So if Manning gets hurt, they would have to have a decision, and I'm sure they've gone over this, where I really do not hope that they would send in Cousins because Cousins likely be operating behind a backup offensive line, playing with backup players. It would be moronic to put him in harm's way in a game that means nothing. I would much rather have them put a position player at quarterback. Like Olabisi Johnson, come on down. You're the next quarterback on the Minnesota Vikings. Also, that'd be hilarious. It'd be great. Or it would have been if the Vikings still had Jerick McKinnon because he played triple option quarterback at Georgia Southern a little bit back in the day. So, I mean, yeah, he's not going to throw the ball, but he takes the snap. He can hand the ball off. He can do all those things. I miss Jerick McKinnon, by the way. Yeah, it sucks. It's insane. Jerick McKinnon is like the 5th or 6th highest paid running back in the league still. He has not played a down for the Niners, and he signed with them 2 years ago. Just really bad injury luck. All right, let's see. What else do we got here? T3D Productions. What do you think about Xavier Rhodes? I'm actually scared we got to use him in our playoff game. I don't know. You see Zimmer trying to minimize his usage with the cornerback rotation that they had going on. But then also they played him quite a bit in the Green Bay game, especially matched up against Devontae Adams, which I don't know why, because Devontae Adams destroys Xavier Rhodes. You look back at their matchups, Xavier Rhodes just cannot match up against Devontae Adams. Yet there he was, all over the place in key spots. 3rd down, 3rd and 7, no big deal. It's just frustrating. Too evil to hope. Should we trade to get Aaron Rodgers? I wonder what that trade package would look like. 3 ones? Probably not. Cynicus, what was the Vikings' identity in the 2019 season? I have no idea. Like a team that you had no idea what was going to show up. They were a true roll of the dice. It's like you're shooting craps. It's like, come on, 7. Or, come on, not 7. And then it comes up 7. Because, I mean, the defense was hot and cold. And then the offense was amazing in the middle of the season. And then Kirk Cousins was amazing in the middle of the season. Dalvin Cook running the ball, doing things, being one of the best running backs in the league. I don't know. Let's see what else here. Donald Wood, what do you think of Cam Newton in Chicago next season? Well, they're going to be riding or dying with Trubisky because that's what you have to do if you're GM Ryan Pace, because you put your name on it, you stamped it, trading up and taking Trubisky Ponder at number 2 overall instead of Deshaun Watson and Pat Mahomes. So you kind of have to ride or die with it. But I do think the Panthers are set to move on from Cam Newton. I do think the new head coach is going to be able to draft his own quarterback because what's the draft order right now? All right, because right now the Panthers would be Bengals 1, Washington 2, Lions 3. The Lions could be in the market for a quarterback, to be honest. All right, Panthers are currently at 8, so they could be in the range for some of the first-round quarterbacks. You know, maybe not some of the premium ones because Joe Burrow is going to go number 1. But I think if they do want to move on, even though they drafted Will Greer in the second round this year, didn't they? Yeah, but they didn't give him the time of day. They're like, hey, Will Greer, we're going to give the ball to Kyle Allen, which didn't work out. And then he got benched. So, I think they are done with Cam. I think Cam could get another shot to be a starting quarterback somewhere. But also, I just don't think that his style was going to be one that allowed him to play later on into his career. Like, it's sort of a fast track version of Big Ben now. Yeah, like you see Big Ben, his body's completely beaten up because remember Big Ben back in the day would just stand in the pocket. He would actually legit take shots from like linemen and linebackers and just stand tall in the pocket and play schoolyard football. Cam Newton was a lot like that, but I think it's an accelerated process with Cam. He had a couple of other bad injuries. I think that car accident also factored in too. Plus he went vegan. I don't think it's going to work out. Yeah, it's here. Matthew Collins, thoughts on Antonio Brown and Saints workout? Well, if he gets given the okay by the league, it's scary. It's scary AF because Antonio Brown can still bring it. Like, he's not out of the league because he can't play. That ain't the issue right now. So Antonio Brown with Michael Thomas, and also you throw in Ted Ginn. God dang it, that's a lot of weapons for Teddy. Too evil to hope. Is Antonio Brown a crazy person? Yes, I legit think that he does have legit issues. Yeah, he does. Ellis R. Mitsu, Trubisky or Ponder. Have you ever seen them in the same place? I would say. I guess I would say Ponder is better than Trubisky, even though Trubisky's highs are higher than Ponder's highs, but also Trubisky's lows are much lower than Ponder's lows because the Vikings, never felt comfortable just completely putting everything on Ponder's plate. So Ponder, like, he certainly inhibited you offensively, but he never cost you because you never put him in a spot for him to cost you necessarily. I mean, half of his job was just actually 90% of his job is handing off to Adrian. And like, do a little bootleg and then throw to Kyle Rudolph as he becomes Pro Bowl MVP. Whereas Trubisky, they're trying to make him a franchise quarterback, and he's just kicking them in the dick. And that's the difference between being drafted number 2 overall after you trade up and being number 12 overall. Yeah. Let's see here. Ellis Armitsu, how many more years will the Vikings be able to compete for a Super Bowl? Well, if this defense stays together, and they get their cornerbacks fixed. I mean, this is a Super Bowl caliber defense, and I mean, TBD what happens on offense. Because say Stefanski leaves, he could and should be in line for a head coaching job. And what do you do now offensively? I mean, you have one more year of Kirk Cousins at least. Do you ride with him? Because the way that Kirk Cousins is playing in the middle of the season, you can win a Super Bowl with that Kirk Cousins. But the problem is he choked in the biggest games of the year this year. He just has. Both Green Bay games, Seattle to a degree. Yeah, maybe not Seattle to a degree. I don't think that's really fair to Kirk, but Chicago game for sure. And the problem is that January games aren't October games. So TBD, what's going to happen with Kirk there? I mean, he hasn't won a playoff game in his entire career for a reason. And also, if Stefanski does leave, I think Stefanski is a big reason why Cousins did get off the schneid. What do? Do you stay in-house? Like, if Zimmer stays, do you elevate Clint Kubiak? 1 year as the quarterbacks coach, all of a sudden he's the OC. If that means keeping Gary Kubiak in the building as the mentor, as the overseer of the offense. I mean, sure. That could work, except there's a lot of moving pieces there. Yeah, let's hear. A couple more. TA Gaming, do you think the Vikings should take a quarterback in the draft this season? Yeah, well, we're firmly on taking a quarterback every single year anyway. Or not every single year, at least every other year. Yeah, like even if you have the guy, continuing to draft a guy who could be the guy, or at least become some sort of trade token down the line, or also if they leave and sign a nice little. Try to bring up rankings. There we go. A nice little free agency deal. You get a compensatory pick, so no problem there. And I don't know, there's a lot of things going on where Joe Burrow is obviously going to go one. I think Justin Herbert, the bloom came off the rose, where Herbert probably could have been at least a top 3 pick last year. I think he hurt his stock a little bit just by being inconsistent this year. Jalen Hurts is an interesting name, mainly because coming through that Oklahoma system, Lincoln Riley doing his magic yet again. I did not see him as an NFL quarterback prospect coming out of Alabama, but switch things around a little bit. Then also, let's see what else we have here. Oh, all right. So Jordan Love is intriguing to me. I do like his upside. He didn't have a lot going for him personnel-wise at Utah State. That did have that weed thing, but also it is whatever. Like, he may go grad transfer, he may put himself in on the draft, but he's a really interesting name for me. All right, let's do a couple more. Jesse Rosado, Zim is going to the Cowboys. I feel that. Yeah, we decided to put our tinfoil hat conspiracy theory about Zimmer going to the Cowboys. Now, that could actually be a legit thing where the Cowboys, I think they are going to move on from Jason Garrett on Monday, so tomorrow, because I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. I think they'll finally axe the 8-8, constantly 8-8 Garrett. So now Jerry's going to try and swing for the fences. He'll try and bring in Lincoln Riley. He'll try and bring in Sean Payton, but I think he's going to break out on all those. And then I think he'll just go to the well. Like, who was here last time we won a Super Bowl? Oh, Max Zimmer? All right, Vikings. Here's the first round pick. There you go. I would take it. Last one. Ethan Johnson. Do you think Tom Brady is regretting coming back this year? No. Because even though he certainly is not the Tom Brady that he once was, didn't make the Pro Bowl, his numbers are down all over the place. His accuracy is in the toilet. His QBR is down. His quarterback rating is down. He is clearly showing signs of age, but also, I mean, the Patriots going to be the 2 seed in all likelihood. They're going to make a playoff run. And also, Brady is still the type of quarterback who is not going to put up gaudy regular season numbers, but if you need one drive late in the game in the playoffs or in the Super Bowl, I'm trusting Tom Brady. Right, so it's not exactly like the corpse of Peyton Manning just limping across the finish line. I also think he comes back for next year as well. All right, and that's it. That is the pregame show. Love you guys. We'll talk at halftime. Keep it tuned in right here. Skull Production Value.